Hey guys, welcome back to the Christie Crafts channel. This is a bonus episode for this week. I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little shaker card. This is these cutout pieces are from the September 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit, Fall for Toile. And I was making my other cards and I just thought, oh, these fall leaves. And I have these little, I think these are like available at Hobby Lobby. These are not Stampin' Up products, but they just went so perfectly that I had to throw them in there. So, but you don't have to use these little fall leaves. You could cut up little pieces of paper in the colors. This is Cajun Craze. You could use the Early Espresso, Crumb Cake, Cajun Craze, even a yellow. You could cut up little pieces in there or use a hole punch to make your shaker material. There's endless possibilities of how you could do this, but I'm going to show you the basic mechanics of how it works so you can make your own. So the first thing you need is a card base, and I make the A6 size cards, which is 6 by 4.5. You could also do A4 because that's what this is here in the middle. You could absolutely do this, but this is the size I make. So and if you notice, my card is not, I'm gonna leave this up here where y'all can see, hopefully. It's not white. But I use a white card base because 99% of the time I leave my inside blank for you to write your own personal note on there. So I want it white in there. Now I could make a colored card base and put a piece of white on the inside, but I just do it the other way. So I'm going to add a piece of craft paper on top. Now you could use crumb cake, you could use pecan pie, any color brown that kind of goes with this you could use. But I have craft paper on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. Excuse me. So we'll put us a little glue on here, focusing on the corners. Okay. Oh, I'm hitting the camera, sorry. Alright. Now we'll stick that to our card base. And when you're putting a piece of paper that you want to cover your whole card base, focus on the fold edge. Line it up really well with that fold edge. You don't want white to show through. You can always trim around the other edges, but don't cut your fold edge because you won't have a card anymore. Okay, and yes, I'm speaking from experience. I have done it. So there we go. Now I've got a little white showing through right there, so I'm going to trim that up. Be right back. There we go. Now we've got our brown card base. And then the next layer is this, which this is actually copper clay, which is a retired color. You could use Cajun Craze, which would be perfect. I just didn't have any on hand. So, and I'm going to stamp around the edges with the little leaf stamps. These are part of the stamp set in the Paper Pumpkin, the September Paper Pumpkin kit. And I'm going to make an edge all the way around this card. You could not do this, absolutely. You could emboss this piece of paper with some type of texture. Anything to add just a little bit of detail makes it, you know, or you don't have to. So let me grab a piece of paper. This has been used and loved, you can see. So we'll open our ink and we'll ink up our leaves. And we'll just make a border around the edge of our paper. Just remember to turn your block so you get some, it's not all the same, it's a random pattern. Okay. And it doesn't have to be very deep at all because it's not showing much, just a little bit shows. Okay, and make sure to make some going off the edge. That's what makes it look like it was already part of the paper. You just cut it. Okay. We're making our way around. I want a little leaf right there for sure. Okay. Turn my block. And let's do one more right there. There we go. Okay. All right, let me clean off my stamp. Okay. All right, now, excuse me. So now we're going to adhere that. This is, like I said, 4.5 by 6. So this is cut a 1/4 inch smaller. So this is 5.75 by 4 1/4. So let's put a little glue on there. And you could use any adhesive you prefer. Okay, and then we'll center that right on our card base. Great. Now, there we've got our card base. Okay, now this part we're going to do. Okay, so I have some of these clear label envelopes that, excuse me, Stampin' Up sells these. You could use any piece of clear acetate that you have. Any kind of like packaging, you could cut that down and use that on your card front. But what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this piece right to our cover. Now this envelope just happens to fit this perfectly width-wise. So we'll put a little glue on here. And make sure you glue down your edges pretty well. You don't want it coming up. Excuse me. Okay, and then let's move on to this. Now, I'm also going to put glue on my tree here because I don't want it just flapping. I want it to stick down. So I'm going to glue my tree down too. So put glue all over this. All the little sticky out parts, put a little dot of glue on. Now, now we're going to glue this down right to the envelope. Let me get a drink. Okay. You just want to make sure that you cover your edge. You don't want any gaps from behind here, behind this open space. Okay. Now, your glue will dry clear, so don't worry if you get any on your cover. Excuse me. Now, we need to trim the extra off of this side. Okay. Now, you have your die cut piece with the tree. And you have your acetate adhered to the back. Got a little bit of glue on it. Let me get that off if I can. Okay. Now, we've got our tree on a clear piece of acetate. Now, to make the shaker mechanism, so now I've got this piece, which is one of the card bases from the kit. It's the linen looking one. And I have cut it down smaller than this. It's a 1/4 inch bigger than this. So it is 3.75 by 5. So I just wanted to frame that out, and I wanted something light behind here so that I could see the shakers. So the next step is we're going to line this piece with adhesive strips, and Stampin' Up sells these. You just want to like close off your clear spot, so you could put a piece right across that bottom. Okay, and then we'll want to put a piece right across here. Now I've left a gap here, so I'm gonna fill that in. I'm gonna start this right here. Okay, and I just don't want to be able to see it from the other side. So let me cut a very small piece. I'm going to close that up. Don't want any gap. Don't want our little shaker pieces to fall out. Now, we're going to put a piece over here. And then we're going to put a piece here. I'll trim that off at the end. And keep going around. And I finished that off, so we need just a little bitty more piece. So let me grab another sheet of these. Okay. Let's see, about that much. That's more than enough, I think. So let me close that off. And let me trim a little bit of that. Now we've got our little moat, so to speak. I see one little gap right there. I'm going to stick that piece in. That's going to work out great. Okay. Now we've got that all covered in. And you turn it over, and you can, I don't want to be able to see my pieces, and I can see that. So I wonder if I can take that off. It's stuck really well. I gotta fix that. This is the perfectionist in me coming out, guys. Sorry. Okay. So, all right, let me grab another piece. Now I'm going to put that right up to there. This is a little bit skinnier, so it's going to work even better. Okay, now I've got one little gap right there. Fill it in. I could have done this better, guys. Sorry. Okay, end result. We've got her. Now, let's take all our backings off. I'm sure you guys will do this much better than I did. Okay. So now, let's see one little thing I want to put. I don't want this to stick up. Okay, we're going to dump our little, this is where you put your shaker material. Just dump you some out onto your paper there. Whatever you're going to stick your die cut onto, put your little shakers in there. I'm going to use these little leaves just because I'm crazy about them. Maybe just a few more. Make sure you have plenty, enough to make it really shake. Pile them in the middle, and then center your piece above it. Okay, and then tack down all your edges really well. And shaky, 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 shaky. Isn't that fun? Okay, now we're going to adhere that right to our card front. Make sure you've got your open inside, and then center that right on the front. Perfect. And then we're going to add our thankful right over the top with a little bit more adhesive strip. And yes, I'm using my edges, guys. Alright, so we'll put a little adhesive strip on that. Okay, and then I want to put it right across the top. And I do want it to overhang my frame just a smidge, about right there. And then we'll make sure it's straight and sticky it down. And there you have it, a fun falling leaves shaker card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure and hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. Happy crafting.